Transautomobile here. Hello everyone, I'm Uday. In this comparison video, we're going to compare these three SUVs, all of which cost less than 30,000 euros. The Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door, a traditional Japanese 4x4, a mini 4x4, which has maintained the same spirit for many decades, this time available as a 5-door. Praised for being one of the only remaining true lightweight off-roaders, something like a modern-day Willys Jeep. How amazing is that? The Renault Duster Deluxe, a great value for money, stylish crossover SUV with a budget price of less than 20,000 euros, which strikes a bold impression, almost that of a premium car. Praised a lot for its value for money and style. And the Kia Sportage GLS, smart like a smartphone. You have the driving feel of a road-friendly car, but with the interior space of a full-sized SUV. Plus all-wheel drive included. Also praised for its value for money, but with a premium twist. By the end of this video, you will be able to decide which of the three models suit your needs for a price of less than 30,000 euros, whether it's for family time, road trips, adventures, or something as simple as an A to B commute, whether you're going to work or whether you're just dropping your kids off to soccer practice. Hello and welcome to Tranautomobile, your specialist in exporting brand new vehicles to the continent of Africa and the rest of the world since 1973. Today, we're at our third stock of cars near Brussels, here in Belgium, at Tranautomobile. And if you are not subscribed yet, push the subscribe button and the notification button to watch the latest videos on our YouTube channel. Watch this video till the end. I will talk about the models, a bit of history and what they bring here today. And then I will compare the exterior, and then I will compare the interior, and then I will also compare their engines and performance. And then I will also talk about the key advantages of each of the models. After this, you will find out the secret as to what makes each of these three models very unique, and you will also find out why they are everyone's favorite cars. Now I'm going to talk about each of the models: the Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door, the Renault Duster Deluxe, and the Kia Sportage GLS. I'll be talking about their history and what they display here. Starting with the Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door, it's not exactly a crossover SUV, it's a mini 4x4, and it's quite a rare gem because it's one of the only lightweight 4x4s, a traditional 4x4, mind you. Now, out of the three models, the Suzuki Jimny has the longest reputation since year 1970. And it's quite a legendary model, actually, when it comes to the 4x4 community, because everybody loves the Suzuki Jimny. And everybody has been asking questions about the 5-door Suzuki Jimny. And the 5-door is quite a unique model as well, because in the history of the Suzuki Jimny model, they have never built a 5-door version before. And since its release in the 1970s, it has only evolved without any compromise on the Jimny spirit. Now, this over here is the 4th generation Suzuki Jimny. It's been around since year 2018, and it is still a true 4x4, just like its previous generation Suzuki Jimnys. Many 4x4 manufacturers have evolved dramatically with all the fancy gadgets and bulkier designs, but that was not the case for the Suzuki Jimny. They stayed true to themselves, and that's quite a rare characteristic. Now, whilst its size and price implies it competes against the Renault Duster and the Kia Sportage, the off-road capabilities certainly implies it can challenge the Toyota Land Cruiser 76 series. Over to the Renault Duster Deluxe, another rare gem for a budget price of 20,000 euros. And yet it is modernized, but with some premium touches. In a generation obsessed with sharp-edge design and touch screens, with the Renault Duster, you are certainly not missing out. Now, the Renault Duster has an interesting history. It was first released in year 2010. And since its release, it had the average image of a budget crossover SUV with a very car-like driving experience. But this time, a revolution has occurred. This is the third generation Renault Duster, and it's a very different world compared to the previous generation's Renault Duster. It belongs in the same segment as the Peugeot 2008 and the Toyota Corolla Cross, yet its modernized design implies it competes against a premium brand. And that aspect paired with the fact that this Renault Duster Deluxe feels very car-like to drive and it is very maneuverable. And now to the Kia Sportage GLS, the smartphone on wheels. It is very modernized and at the same time versatile for many scenarios. The Kia Sportage model was first released in year 1993, and just like the Renault Duster, it is a very different world compared to its previous generation. Because the first generation Kia Sportage was actually a proper 4x4, very much like the Suzuki Jimny. It was offered in a short wheelbase version. There was even a convertible version available. How amazing was that? Those were the sweet 90s. But then, in the 2000s, the Kia Sportage abandoned the 4x4 image in favor of a crossover SUV image. They became more road-friendly, more city-friendly, and therefore very versatile. Over the years, the Kia Sportage model developed a reputation for being reliable and great value for money. This over here is the 5th generation Kia Sportage, and it is certainly a very different world compared to its previous generation Kia Sportage. It belongs in the same segment as the Toyota RAV4. Now I will talk about the construction method of each of the three models, starting with the Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Suzuki Jimny is a traditional 4x4, a mini 4x4, but it still has the body-on-frame construction method. Now, this construction method greatly enhances off-road capabilities and utility because the chassis beams absorb all the stress. Hence why it's a popular construction method amongst 4x4s and pickups. And this is where the Renault Duster Deluxe and the Kia Sportage GLS have something else in common. The fact that they both have the same construction method, the unibody construction method. This is where the chassis beams are integrated with the bodywork. This construction method greatly enhances driving performance, handling, ride comfort, and of course, fuel efficiency. Now I will talk about the exterior of the three models. This is where they display their character through their design and the equipment. I will start with the exterior of the Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door. The first aspect which separates the Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door from the two crossover SUVs would be the proud 4x4 image, the boxy design, and then also the fact that you have the spare tire equipped onto the back door. In terms of dimensions, out of the three, the Suzuki Jimny has the shortest length of only 3.99 meters. And it also has the shortest width of only 1.65 meters. But ironically, it's the tallest out of the three, with a height of 1.72 meters. Wow. The distance between the front axle and the front end of the Suzuki Jimny is very short. And that is the same case for the distance between the rear axle and the rear end. This greatly enhances off-road capabilities, also with the higher ground clearance. The plastic bumpers at the front and at the rear, along with the plastic protection on the wheel arch, not only give the Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door a cross-country look, but they also protect the body paint from paint wears in long terms. You also have some cool equipment like xenon lights, fog lamps, rear parking sensors, and the stylish 15-inch alloy wheels. Now over to the exterior of the Renault Duster Deluxe. I have to say that out of the three, it is the most modernized. Towards the front, instead of the Renault badge, you have Renault written in letters. Towards the rear, you have the new Renault badge with a 1980s style to it, and you have Duster written in letters down there. How premium does that look? The exterior design leans more to the sharp edge side when compared to the previous generation Renault Duster models. To open the rear side door, the handle is on the C-pillar over here, and this gives the Renault Duster a coupe look on the side. The plastic on the wheel arch gives the Renault Duster a cross-country look, but just like on the Suzuki Jimny, it protects the paintwork from paint wears in long terms. Oh nice, you even get an air vent just over here. In terms of equipment, it screams value for money. The halogen headlights with LED daytime running lights. The side indicator is integrated into the side view mirror, and most importantly, those 5-spoke alloys, which really strike an impression from a distance. Now over to the exterior of the Kia Sportage GLS. I have to confess, it does visually look like the sportiest and the largest model out of the three. According to dimensions, it is the longest out of the three, with a length of 4.7 meters, and it is the widest out of the three with a width of 1.9 meters. But aside from dimensions, it also boasts the most road-friendly image, thanks to the 19-inch 5-spoke duotone alloys, which look very cool by the way. What's also notable would be the lower ground clearance. They call it a Sportage for a reason, making it sporty. The exterior design of the Kia Sportage strongly reminds me of Kia electric cars, and this seems to be an aspect which separates the Kia Sportage GLS from the Renault Duster Deluxe and the Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door. Whilst the other two models have been evolutions of previous generations or references to previous generation models, the Kia Sportage has been a complete revolution. Stylish headlights with LED daytime running lights over here. And towards the rear, you also have the stylish LED rear lights with this black trim which is continuous across the rear. And you also have a rear spoiler. Now I will compare the interiors of the three models. I already sat in all three, and not surprisingly, there are big differences. Starting with the Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door. So just like the interior leans very close to the 4x4 image, the hard plastic, the tissue seats, all of which scream durability. The narrow width of 1.65 meters means it is the narrowest interior out of the three, but at the same time, the visibility outside is excellent. And that's also thanks to the fact that the A-pillar is quite thin. And this means great visibility for when I'm in the city or when I'm going off-roading. You also have value for money. Automatic air conditioning, leather-wrapped multifunctional steering wheel, and an infotainment system with a rear view parking camera. And you also have electric mirror adjustment. For the automatic transmission, you have a stick over here, and just next to it you have the lever to the 4x4 system. Now towards the rear, the seats are great, and the boxy design also means a lot of headroom, which is excellent. Now this is very cool that the Suzuki Jimny is actually a 5-door finally, because before, on previous generations, the 5-door version never existed. So in this sense, it is really cool what they've pulled out over here. Now, out of the three, the Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door does have the shortest boot space, but this can be sorted out by folding down the rear seats if you don't need them. Over to the interior of the Renault Duster Deluxe. Two words pop in my mind: modernized and simplified. Now, when sitting inside, it does have a very car-like feel to it. Detailed infotainment system with rear view parking camera, and you also have climate control on the infotainment system, and the shortcut buttons are just over here. And because most of the controls are on the screen, this has simplified the interior big time, leaving space over here for practicality solutions. You also have leather-wrapped multifunctional steering wheel, and you also get driving palettes. But it gets even more interesting because you have a little knob down here for your transmission. You have stylish duotone tissue seats. For the interior plastic, I really like how they've combined the dark tone plastic with the bright tone plastic at certain areas. It really gives it a different appeal, everyone. And the fact that you have plastic, it makes it very easy to maintain. All four windows are fully automated. Now, the rear seats of the Renault Duster are very comfortable thanks to the fact that you have the tissue seats, and then also you have the tinted rear windows, which gives you additional privacy, but there's no compromise compromise on the visibility outside. I have a little bit more leg room. I have a lot of headroom, and there seems to be more space above. It's great. Out of the three models, the Renault Duster has the deepest boot space, and just underneath you have the spare tire. Over to the interior of the Kia Sportage GLS. It certainly feels like the most premium out of the three, and at the same time, it is the most spacious out of the three. I have acres of space, everyone. Let's start with the design and materials. It looks very smart. I like the piano black trim you get just next to the transmission and the buttons over here. And the same piano black trim can be seen next to the window controls. This is excellent. And then also the piano black trim is just next to the infotainment system and the instrument cluster. But most importantly, it's the value for money aspect that does the talking here. You have leather seats with Alcantara above, with both front seats being electrically adjustable and the driver's seat having seating memory. And it gets even better. Leather-wrapped multifunctional steering wheel. The front seats are heated and ventilated. You get heated steering wheel. Now this is what I call luxury at this point. You have a swivel wheel over here for your driving mode, and you also have a center differential lock. I will talk about it later in the video in detail when I cover the engine and performance. You have an automatic dual zone climate control, detailed infotainment system with a rear view parking camera, digital instrument cluster, and the cherry on the cake, you have a panoramic sunroof. Interior practicality is also smart with the cup holders over here, which can double as additional storage space for your phone or for other objects. Now over to the rear seats of the Kia Sportage, the visibility outside is amazing. And then also, it is actually the most comfortable thanks to the leather seats. And the legroom is plentiful. Now out of the three, the Kia Sportage does have the most interesting boot space thanks to the flat floor just over here. So it's easy for you to slide luggages in and out. This is great. And when you fold down the middle row seats, you get a flat floor. This is how practical it is. And now I'm going to talk about the engine and performance of all three models. The only thing they have in common would be the fact that they have petrol engines and the automatic transmission combined. Giving power to the Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door is a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder petrol engine which produces 100 horsepower, combined with an automatic transmission, which means smooth performance on tarmac or off the tarmac, and you get to focus more on the road ahead. The Renault Duster Deluxe has the smallest engine, a 1.3-liter 4-cylinder petrol engine which produces 150 horsepower. Combined with an automatic transmission, it's a very refined experience, quite pleasant when cruising in the cities or on the highways. The Kia Sportage GLS has the largest engine and the most powerful out of the three. Over here is a 2-liter 4-cylinder petrol engine which produces 156 horsepower. Combined with an automatic transmission, it does give a premium driving experience, something relaxing. And now I'm going to cover drivetrains. The Suzuki has a part-time 4x4 drivetrain. So when it's in two-wheel drive, the engine gives power directly to the rear wheels. But then you can also engage four-wheel drive high range and four-wheel drive low range. Four-wheel drive high range is when you need additional traction or when you're going off-roading. Four-wheel drive low range is when you're going serious off-roading. The Renault Duster has a front-wheel drive layout. This is where the engine gives power directly to the front wheels, and this greatly enhances the interior space as there is less component underneath the vehicle, and this also means better traction on the road. For the Kia Sportage, you have an all-wheel drive system. Now with the swivel wheel, you'll notice on top there is a center differential lock button, and this is where you can fully engage the all-wheel drive system, where the engine gives power to all four wheels. And now I will talk about the key advantages which makes each of the three models shine. For less than 30,000 euros, they are proof that too big isn't always the solution. Sometimes all you need is something compact, something smart, and something reliable. The Suzuki Jimny GLX 5-door is the most rugged out of the three. A mini 4x4 which shares the similar traits as many traditional 4x4s like the Toyota Land Cruiser 70 series, the Jeep Wrangler, or even the Ford Bronco, except that this is a compact 4x4. So therefore, it's very maneuverable for the city. It's very easy to live with, very easy to park as well. And that too, when you're going off-roading, it's quite lightweight for the off-road sessions. With a durable interior, I feel ready for my next adventure and my next commute to the city. The Renault Duster is the cheapest out of the three. Screaming value for money at a price tag of less than 20,000 euros. Yet the design of the exterior and the interior looks very modernized. It's going to be very ideal when I go on highways, when I go on road trips, or when I'm commuting in the city. This is my choice for the city, actually. The Kia Sportage GLS is the most premium out of the three. A luxury vehicle for less than 30,000 euros. It screams great value for money. Now this will be amazing for family time, road trips, city commutes, but then at the same time, if you decide to go adventurous, you can actually go adventurous. On customers' request, we can also prepare the needed spare parts kits for 1 or 2 or 3 years and send it to you with the vehicle itself, or we can send it to you by mail express to your desired destination. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run. And please let us know in the comment section which of the three models is your favorite. And don't just watch. Contact us for a personalized quote on any type of vehicle. Our sales team is dedicated every day to upholding our motto. Our mission, your satisfaction.